What's going on, guys? My name is Christopher and welcome to It's Complicated. It's just a show where we're going to check out some watches. We're going to be looking at watches like Rolex. We're going to be looking at watches like Omega. I've done a lot on the channel already, so if you haven't checked out some of the older videos, go ahead and check that out. But today we're going to be looking at an actual quartz watch, and it's actually called A Perfectly Useless Afternoon. Here we go. All right, so I got the camera pretty high up here just to get this front of the box here, well, the whole box I should say, because this is an enormous box. I mean, there's my hand and the box is much higher than that. The front of the box shows you that this is from Mr. Jones Watches, and you flip this over and look how busy the back of that box is. I think it's so much fun with all the different things it says. And you might be thinking, there's no way that's the back of the box. Well, there's the back of the watch right there, as it says, A Perfectly Useless Afternoon by Christophe Devos. And you flip this over and we will get this out of the box. Just like I said, there's the front, okay? A Perfectly Useless Afternoon, designed by Christophe Devos. And there's a lot more writing in here. There's the man himself who designed the watch. We'll get into the watch here in a little more detail. Let's take it out of the box. And there it is. How cool of a watch is that? Check it out. You might be thinking to yourself, where's the watch? I don't understand what watch I'm looking at. Well, you got to look at the guy's foot. That's the hour hand, and the little duck floating around the water, that's the minute hand. How cool is that? So we're nearing 1:30 here at the time of me filming the video. And the watch was designed by a man named Christophe Devos. Him and I have very similar first names anyway. And he was actually inspired by a quote from a Chinese writer, Lin Yitang, who once said, "If you can spend a perfectly useless afternoon in a perfectly useless manner, you have learned how to live." And I think that's a pretty good quote. You know, and the watch was just released. And just look at this thing. It's so unique. When I first saw it, the first 30 seconds or so, I just didn't understand what I was looking at. How is this a watch? You know, and especially without a second hand, I think when you take a second hand off of a quartz watch, you're really bringing something to some of the other collectors, because some of the collectors don't want to see that quartz watch ticker, that little second hand just pounding around. We don't want to see that. I think this watch is a lot cooler than that. Just a minute and just an hour, and that's really all you need. Now, price of this watch is $255 US. Size of this is 37 millimeter across, so a man or a woman could wear it. It goes either way, I think. The size, this is going to be a tiny bit bigger than a Rolex Datejust, and you guys know I have one of them, so check it out. We'll have a little comparison here. There's the Datejust, and there's the Perfectly Useless Afternoon, and it's just a tiny bit bigger. But I think it looks great. Again, it's really the uniqueness of this watch. Now, being quartz movement, this watch is going to tell time very well. Probably going to beat some of the automatic watches, maybe any of the automatic watches that you're wearing. I know you're not wearing automatic watches for timekeeping purposes only. However, I just love how cool this thing looks, especially as somebody who wears all the Hawaiian shirts all the time. You guys know me, come on. Water resistance of this watch is 50 meters. Now the case is made from 316 stainless, and it has a polished silver finish. And if you turn this over, you can look here I need a good smudge. There you go. You can see the smudge there real easy. I mean, that's how highly polished, this little painting in the back there, highly polished this. And when it says polished silver, I don't know if it's got like a silver finish on top. Maybe that's why it smears like that. I'm not 100% certain there. You know, bezel is smooth. Definitely showing off the dial on this one. And the crystal is sapphire. So you're not really going to be able to scratch this watch. It's going to work out very well. Let's check out the crown of this watch. Crown is pretty standard. It's not a screw-in crown though. Again, the watch is water resistant, but it does have the water resistance from the O-ring on the crown when it just gets locked in. That's how that works. But as far as this one goes, there's kind of double crown to this. This doesn't do anything to my knowledge. Doesn't look like it does. It might just be because they want kind of a crown on each side to match the fashion on this one, possibly. Let's check out the case back. It does have the Perfectly Useless Afternoon by Christophe de Vos right on there. It says it was designed in Belgium, made in London. Very cool. Now, as far as lume goes, guys, you're not going to have any lume on this one. I did check. No lume. Could be a good thing, though. Maybe in the long run, it means the dial will never really get any stains on it or aging from older lume. And who knows, maybe one day this could be an extremely collectible one. Maybe even without the lume. Maybe they're going to make one with lume on that minute and hour hand. Who knows? Now, bracelet. It is stainless steel. It's a little shinier than I thought it was going to be. And as far as how it hooks on, this hook right onto there, this comes down, closes, and you're nice and secure. So it would be an easy one to wear. Easy one to take off as well. Just pull that out. There you go. Now I got to start being one of these channels that says don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. It's going to help me out a lot. I did just mention the bracelet thing being a little shinier than I thought. I wouldn't say it's totally too shiny for me, but if I was going to order one again, I might not get it on this bracelet. And you have that option. When you're ordering this watch, you can pick it up on a different strap. They got nylon ones, leather ones, all kinds of different colors. And I just figured to add to my collection and for the review, you might as well get started on like the original of this watch. And I think it definitely feels unique. Also, going back to the bracelet here, check this out. This bracelet has this on it. You just slide this down and this comes out. And look at that. You can take off that bracelet so easy. Even putting it back together, no problems there. See if I can do this through the camera. It's going to be a little tricky, I think. I have to grab it more like this. Oh, oh. And there it is. Wasn't too bad at all. And this artist does have two other watches that are pretty similar to this one. There's a Perfectly Useless Evening and a Perfectly Useless Morning. I think this one though is the best, and I think it's showing with their sales and everything right now that this one is the best. There it is on the wrist, and check that out. I love the beach atmosphere. I love that people sitting in the sun kind of atmosphere. And right now looking at a little past 1:30, easy time to read, but a lot of people, you'd run into somebody, they would have no idea what is on your wrist. This would be a great thing, I think, to wear somewhere where you're going to run into people that you maybe don't know who are also watch collectors, some kind of watch collector gathering, and they're going to look at this thing and be like, I don't even understand how that tells time. It might take them a minute, or you might actually have to explain it. You know, overall, I like this watch a lot. I don't have many quartz watches in my collection, but this one is just so unique. It's definitely going in the collection for me. There's no secondhand, and let's just be frank here, most people aren't gonna even understand what is on your wrist, and it could make for a great conversation starter, as I've mentioned. You know, overall, I like this watch. I dig it a lot. I don't have many quartz watches in my collection, but this one is just so unique. Like we were just talking about with how you can make it a conversation starter. It's just it's such a piece of art on your wrist. I really dig this one. It's definitely got the shine too if you're gonna sit out in the sun. I think this is just a fantastic watch all around, especially for a quartz piece. Now, for a quartz watch, price-wise, it's a little expensive, but again, this is a piece of art in my opinion, and I don't think it's too expensive. I mean, you're talking $250 really, American. It's not that much money. And that pretty much wraps up the showcase, guys. If you've been watching the channel a long time and you're wondering where I've been, I can't really get into that. Things here are quite wild in my life. You might be hearing a little echoey. The rooms I am in right now are enormous. It just has this huge echo effect, and I'm not getting all the stuff to block the echoes right now. So I'm hoping that the audio is at least decent enough for you guys. I'm hoping you liked the video. I definitely liked this watch. I think it's just a bizarre, cool piece of art, really, in the world of quartz watches. Absolutely. So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I'd appreciate that. And I'll see you next time on another episode of It's Complicated.